Alright, imagine this: you're scrolling through your watch list, looking for something light, something fun, something that doesn't demand too much emotional energy but still leaves you smiling, and then you land on a charming little gem from 2011, Mr. Popper's Penguins. Now, if you're here on TechBlog 66, you already know we're diving deep, but in a relaxed, storytelling way, so sit back, relax, and let's talk about a movie that mixes comedy, family values, and a whole lot of penguin chaos. So the story begins with Mr. Tom Popper, a highly successful real estate businessman living in New York City. He's the kind of guy who measures life in deals, deadlines, and dollars. His phone never stops ringing, his schedule is packed, and his relationships, well, let's just say they're not exactly thriving. He's divorced, his kids think he's more of a stranger than a father, and his life is pretty much all work and no heart. And right from the beginning, you get that feeling that something's missing in his life, even if he doesn't realize it yet. Now here's where things take a turn from normal to completely unexpected. Mr. Popper receives a mysterious package from his late father, who, by the way, was a world traveler. When he opens the package, expecting something valuable or meaningful in a traditional sense, he instead finds a penguin. Yes, a real, living penguin. And not just one. Before he can even process what's happening, more penguins start arriving. Suddenly, his sleek, organized apartment turns into a full-blown icy playground filled with 6 adorable but wildly mischievous penguins. And this is where the movie really starts to shine. The humor kicks in, but it's not just random slapstick, it's playful, situational comedy that builds naturally. Watching a high-powered businessman try to manage a group of unpredictable penguins is exactly as chaotic as you'd imagine. They slide across floors, mess up his meetings, and completely flip his life upside down. But here's the... Though they don't speak, their expressions and actions say everything. It's impressive how much emotion and humor is conveyed through them. It's not just chaos for the sake of laughs. There's a purpose behind it. As the story progresses, you start to see Mr. Popper change. At first, he sees the penguins as a problem, something to get rid of. He even tries to send them away. But slowly, almost without realizing it, he begins to connect with them. They bring warmth into his cold, structured life. They force him to slow down, to laugh, to care. And more importantly, they become a bridge between him and his children. One of the most heartwarming aspects of the movie is how it handles family relationships. Mr. Popper's kids initially see him as distant and unreliable. But when they see him trying to take care of these penguins, when they witness him being goofy and present, something shifts. The penguins, in a way, become a symbol of everything he's been missing: joy, connection, and genuine love. Now let's talk about the tone of the movie for a moment. It's light-hearted, yes, but it doesn't feel empty. There's a gentle emotional layer running underneath the comedy. It reminds you that success isn't just about money or status. It's about the people in your life, the memories you create, and the moments you choose to be present for. And the movie delivers this message without being preachy. It just lets the story unfold naturally, and the message kind of sneaks up on you. The penguins themselves deserve a special mention. Each one has its own personality, which adds to the fun. They're not just background props, they're characters. From the playful ones to the slightly grumpy ones, they all contribute to the story in their own unique way. And even visually, the film does a great job of blending reality with fantasy. Turning an apartment into a snowy environment filled with ice and water could have easily looked over the top or unrealistic, but here it works. It adds to the charm rather than distracting from it. The setting becomes almost magical, especially for the kids in the story, and honestly, for the audience too. Another interesting element is how the movie contrasts two worlds: the cold, corporate world of business and the warm, messy world of family and fun. Mr. Popper starts off firmly planted in the first one, but the penguins pull him into the second. And watching that transition is both entertaining and satisfying. You see him go from being someone who avoids emotional connections to someone who embraces them, even if it means stepping out of his comfort zone. Now, let's talk about pacing. The movie keeps things moving at a steady rhythm. It doesn't drag, and it doesn't rush. It gives you enough time to enjoy the funny moments while also developing the characters. And for a family-friendly film, that balance is crucial. You don't want it to feel too slow for kids or too shallow for adults, and this movie manages to hit that sweet spot. What also stands out is how relatable the core theme is. A lot of people, especially in today's fast-paced world, can relate to the idea of being too busy to truly connect with loved ones. The movie gently nudges you to rethink priorities. It doesn't demand a complete life overhaul, but it does suggest that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than chasing success. And let's not forget the humor. It's clean, it's clever, and it works for all ages. There are physical comedy moments, witty lines, and situational gags that land well. It's the kind of humor that makes you smile rather than just laugh out loud, and sometimes that's even better. It creates a feel-good atmosphere that stays with you even after the movie ends. As the story builds toward its conclusion, there's a sense of emotional payoff. Mr. Popper has to make choices, real choices that test how much he's changed. And without giving away too much, the ending ties everything together in a way that feels earned. It's not overly dramatic, but it's satisfying. You see the growth, you feel the warmth, and you walk away with a sense of closure. Now, is this movie trying to reinvent cinema? Not really. And that's perfectly fine. Not every movie needs to be groundbreaking. Sometimes, all you need is a simple story told well, with heart, humor, and a touch of magic. And that's exactly what Mr. Popper's Penguins delivers. If you're someone who enjoys family-friendly content, this is definitely worth your time. It's the kind of movie you can watch with kids, with friends, or even alone on a lazy afternoon. It doesn't demand too much, but it gives you just enough laughs, enough emotion, and enough meaning to make it memorable. And for content creators out there, especially if you're running a channel like TechBlog66, this movie is a great pick for a vlog. It's easy to talk about, easy to relate to, and it has that universal appeal that works well with a wide audience. You can highlight the humor, the message, the characters, there's plenty to work with. So overall, Mr. Popper's Penguins is a delightful mix of comedy and heart. It reminds us that sometimes, the most unexpected things can bring the biggest changes. Whether it's a group of penguins turning a businessman's life upside down or a simple moment of connection bringing a family closer together, the movie captures those little sparks of joy that make life special. And honestly, in a world where everything feels rushed and complicated, a movie like this is a breath of fresh air. It tells you to slow down, to laugh more, to care more, and to not take life too seriously. Because sometimes, all it takes is a little chaos, and maybe a few penguins, to remind you what really matters. This movie is available on YouTube free.